Hi everybody, welcome back to my second Homebrew Wednesday. I hope that this finds you well and that the new year is bringing you lots of luck and fun and I suppose lots of homebrew. So, what are we going to talk about today? I promise you, this won't be half an hour long as the last one was, although I was doing my first brew of the year, so I should be forgiven. I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my eBay bargains. I don't know whether or not I should be happy about it or not, so I'm going to let you decide. But I suppose first of all we should talk about my Route Citra 6, which I did an extract of last week, and we left it that the Wyeast pack hadn't inflated. So I got up on the Tuesday morning. I'd done it Monday night, went to bed quite late, got up on the Tuesday morning and I just thought, oh well, whatever, let's just pitch the yeast. I pitched it and got straight to work and put an order in for a dry yeast comparison, and then I emailed Brew UK, who I'd got the original kit off of, and just asked them if they could post it same day, which they did, which was great of them. Got home on Tuesday, nothing had happened, and to be honest with you, I was in two minds as to whether or not just to chuck it and call it a bad day. So I thought, no, I'll leave it. Got up on Wednesday, nothing had happened. By Wednesday night, things had changed and fermentation had started. There was a nice fermentation sort of foam just starting. It wasn't huge, but it wasn't bad. Got up on Thursday morning and there was a good 2 centimeters of foam on the top. There was a yeast cake building and it was incredibly active. So I've left it, fingers crossed. I'm going to show you some stuff that I took on Monday just to show you how well it's doing. It's now Wednesday. I'm expecting it to sort of be finished in the next day or so, but we'll see. So I'll keep you updated next week as to how that's happened. It seems to have been a week of good luck because not only was my Route Citra 6 now fermenting, on Friday night I was on the internet doing some research because I was putting my first all-grain recipe together, and I've decided that I'm going to do a French beer de guerre, which is like quite a strong ale. And as I was doing my research and I was looking at different sites to get my grains, I came across a London homebrew supplier, and I was really pleased because they're based in Brixton, which is not far from me. It takes about 40 minutes. And they're called the London Beer Lab. You need to look them up. I've put the link below. So I spoke to one of my best friends and I spoke to my other half and said, look, come on, we'll go for a bit of an adventure on Sunday, and we went to Brixton. They're like 5 minutes walk from Brixton tube station. You get there and it's an archway underneath the railway and you think, I think I've come to the wrong place. Knocked on the door and interrupted a brew session, which looks like it was a class that was going on, and had that awful moment of, oops, I don't think we should be here. And then one of the guys took us to one side and we talked about what brewer wanted to do. They had all the grains and they were all crushed for me. They had, it's a Wyeast pack, and you know that I've not had much luck with those so far. So, you know, second time lucky, should work for us. And they took what I needed. We went away for coffee, came back about an hour later. It was all ready, came to 20 quid. And then I saw that they had some brew buckets, some fermenter buckets. And I thought, well, I'll have a second one of those. So total spend for that afternoon was 30 quid. I've got all my grains together, and we'll go through what that's going to be a little bit later. but very excited. So London Beer Labs, it's in my discussions there. They have the most amazing array of grains and yeasts and chemicals, and they're building their business. I can't speak highly enough of them. They were so nice. So all luck goes in threes, so my good luck continued. You may remember from my episode 1 that I had managed to get a water cooler from eBay for £17. It's 5 gallons and it's quite squat. It's got wheels and stuff like that, but it's got a tap and it fits into my utility cupboard, which is really useful. It actually takes 20 litres, even though it says it takes 18, but 20 takes it to the top. It has a sealable lid. The clip's broken on it, which is why I got it so cheap, but that's not a problem. So I went to B&Q on Monday to try and find the bits to change it into a mash tun. I'm not going to put a manifold or a false floor in it because there's just not enough room. So I decided, after a lot of research, to use one of the flexi pipes. So it's the stainless steel mesh and inside has a rubber pipe. And what follows is me butchering that pipe and making my filter. I think the only thing to sort of say on this is that it's an American thread, so it doesn't fit our 15mm thread and it doesn't fit our, I think, 1/2 inch thread. So I'm going to try and see if I can find one that it does, the coupler that it fits to. But bear in mind that the tap is for hot and cold, so that's fine. It's pre-boiled, so I've got less worry about infection. And all the couplings are inside the mash tun, so it's just as long as when I'm stirring the mash that the filter doesn't come off. Anyway, I took video on Monday. Have a look at it, see what you think, and we'll go. Okay, so this is what I'm proposing. I've bought. Now it's an American fitting. An American fitting tap, and I couldn't find a tap that fitted the hole properly on the cooler. So this is exactly the same as the tap as I have on my fermenter. It is take apartable, so it's cleanable, but of course what's going to run through this doesn't need to be sterilized because it's pre-boil. So I did manage to find a coupler at B&Q, so you can see that there. Now what it does do is it sort of settles in and then it pushes in, but of course this will be in the mash tun itself, so it's not going to be under a huge amount of pressure. It doesn't matter if it actually leaks a little bit, so we know that it's not a complete seal, but that's fine. That then fits onto this flexi hose like that, and this is one of those flexible hoses that then has a rubber hose inside, and it's the taking out of the rubber hose that's exciting. What I've kind of learned is that if you pierce inside here, you pierce the rubber hosing, and you do it all the way round. So I don't know if this is right, but this came with a drive, a hard drive, and it fits. It doesn't make too much of a hole. You kind of push it in between the netting, and I've spent the last 10-15 minutes piercing the in between the mesh and the rubber hose. So what you do next is you cut it down, which I'm going to cut about here. You peel this back and then you pull the rubber hose out. I managed to saw off the connector end, which is there, and you're left with this. Now if I hold it up like that, you can see it's all raggedy. So now you're going to peel back, as far as I'm aware, you peel back this like this. And there's a little bit of take on that. So then, as far as you can tell, you take this end in one hand, I've pulled back the sheath on the other, pulled it, watch your hands a little bit because there's all sorts of stuff there, and then you give it a pull and it comes out. I'm not going to do this on camera because if I can't pull it out I'm going to look like a complete wuss, and I really don't need any more video evidence that I'm a complete wuss, so I'll come back to you in a sec. So not as much of a wuss as I thought. That's the inner hose, that's out. Let me put that under there. You can see now that that's completely out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find my pliers, and I'm going to turn this in on itself, and I'm going to clamp it down. I don't know if you can see that, but that's now, the end is now being pushed together. I actually use a pair of kitchen scissors just to take off any stragglers, so that's all fine. All up, nice and tight, and then the bodge job goes in. And if you give me a minute or two, I'll show you what it's like on the inside. That's that, and then if I just turn that round, you can see the tap on the front. So this seems to be a theme. Welcome to my bathroom. So as you can see, I filled this now. It's taken 20 litres, so it's well over 5 gallons, which is good. The tap isn't leaking, which is fantastic news. And we're just going to see if water drains. Which, fingers crossed, it does. That's amazing. There we go. Mash tun complete. So that was my mash tun. It came in at just under £30. It wasn't expensive at all. It took about 20 minutes to do the modifications. It's not perfect, let's hold our hands up to that. But it's going to help me do my first all grains. What am I going to do? I'm going to do an all grain brew using my new mash tun, and I'm going to do it most probably this Sunday, if not the following Sunday. I'm going to do a beer de garde, which is a strong French beer using a French saison yeast. It uses pale malts, Vienna malts, biscuit malts and aromatic malts, of which I've never come across before in my research, so I'm quite excited about that. And it's Tatnang hops, and also I think, yes, Brewer's Gold. So what more can be said? All grain beer is coming. I can't wait. Anyway, I suppose before I go, I would really like to say thank you to people like Norfolk Hillbilly, Dan ABA and Clement's Homebrew, who have all commented and have all said hello and welcomed me to the BrewTube Home Brewing Wednesday clan. And I hope that I can be as informative as you've all been. I have to say, I don't think I'm ever going to be brewing on your scale, but that's good, because variety is the spice of life, as they say. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is my second Homebrew Wednesday finished, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.